Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of our Yes Golf Review. We are doing a deep dive of the mid-handicapper irons that have released in 2025. If you watch some parts of these videos, it will still be helpful for you to go to the way back where we do a deep dive of the datas and conclusions about these 6 irons. If you have not watched any of these videos, feel free to watch them in line, knowing that these were all played with the same shaft except for one, same golf ball, all shot on the same day, even though our shirts changed in the middle of it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's go test.
Ooh, really good shot there. Little fadey.
Yep, just a little fade.
Just a little bit. What's your normal shot? Would you say it's a fade or a draw?
With my clubs, I play a little draw.
A little draw.
Yeah, I play a little draw, but that's just how my clubs are set for me.
Got it.
But yeah, if I had to play a fade, I can play a fade. If I had to hit a draw, I can hit a draw. But
cool.
This one, yeah, it was just I'm gonna try to hit them all straight.
Yeah.
So that we don't have like a specific bias,
That's
unless you know we want to test out, you know, toe shots, heel shots, and kind of compare them.
Ooh. Okay, there's a. Is it still a little bit fade?
I mean, that's.
But it's going far.
That's pretty centered, yeah.
Okay, so pretty right on the dot. So the technical difference between these two is that the Callaway Ai200, the face and the body is forged.
Yeah.
So all of them are forged, as opposed to the TaylorMade P790, which only the face is forged. So feel, we're gonna see if there's any feel difference, but at impact, what stands out to you? Maybe at address, anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, it's definitely just right in there in the mid-handicapper section. It's the edges are rounded, so you can get that feeling of, oh, it's not too edgy, not too lined. So if you're into that kind of stuff, then that'll probably help you. I do like the finish, how they do the top line as well, because it's not super glary, so it actually blends in. So it doesn't make the top line look too thick. Yeah. Where I think a lot of players might not like that.
Right.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of offset. You can notice that, but I mean, I think that's what helps a lot of people in this category.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the TaylorMade P790. Ooh. Okay. Starts off a little left. It sounds high pitched, right?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Like, right? Compared to the Ai200, it sounds a little bit more higher pitched.
Just a little more, yeah.
I would say it's just as loud.
Yeah.
But it's just more high pitched.
They're not quiet, that's for sure. They're not quiet, yeah.
Anything at address and feel wise that was different?
So in address, this is a little more linear, so there's a lot more lines compared to the Ai200.
Like a little more edgy, sharpy.
It's a little more edgy, a little more sharpy, yeah, I would put it like that. You can notice that the hosel and the face are a lot more closer compared to the Ai200. So there's a little more distance between the hosel and where the grooves start on the Ai200, whereas in the P790, it's a little more closer. So it may look like the offset it looks like it's a little less than the Ai200.
Okay, so it looks like there's less offset in the P790.
Yeah. It looks like it, yeah.
And for anybody who doesn't know what offset is basically the way how the hosel goes straight into the face and how much it curves so that the face, you can practically say that face looks a little bit more closed. Yeah. Traditionally, more offset means that you won't miss to the right.
Yeah, so it helps you close the face a little more. It gives you just a little more time to close the face and not leave it open.
Yes.
So it helps with the slice that most amateurs kind of struggle with.
Exactly, and also it could help you with a little bit more launch as well. So those are the characteristics. So let's go ahead and hit one more. Yeah, definitely a little louder and higher pitched.
Yeah.
Where do you think that hit? It seems like it's falling a little shorter.
It was a little low, and I want to say that was a little low toe, but it's really hard to tell with
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually heel.
Low
huh?
heel.
Yeah.
So both of these, this is interesting,
Yeah.
right? Because first and the second shot from the P790 are not that much different as far as where it hit.
Yeah.
But it kind of produced two different shots.
Shots, yeah.
One that was significantly more shorter. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to the
All right,
Ai200.
yeah.
Okay, just a little right.
Yeah.
Again, do you feel as though there's anything in the way it looks or the shaft feels that produces a fadey shot?
No, I think it's just me reacting to it, to be honest. I think that the offset just makes me feel like I can't shut the face, because if I do, I'm gonna just pull it left.
Got it.
So it kind of encourages me in a weird way to not rotate through as hard as I would if it didn't have offset. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more reactionary, I think.
Okay, so this is, how did that
Yeah.
swing feel?
So this swing felt like it was gonna go left.
Go very left.
Yeah,
Okay.
this swing was me countering what I just did for the past couple of shots and
Got
losing
it.
to the right.
So another thing that I see is that it looks like, we're gonna have to look at it at the end, but the drooping sensation or the amount of droop that happens, so the amount of toe going down at impact is a little bit more than in the Ai200.
Yeah.
We'll see if that is the case.
Okay.
But let's go hit one last one. But before we do that, so feel-wise, I know we hit Ai200, P790, back to Ai200. Does it feel any different?
Definitely, it's not distinctive.
Okay.
It's kind of hard. If like feel-wise, if I were blindfolded, I would say that it would be really hard to distinguish the two. But the Ai200, yes, it does have a bigger sound.
Bigger sound. Okay. Yeah, I think
they're still both very loud.
Yes.
But it's just a tad bit softer than the P790.
I think it's a difference in the pitch.
The pitch.
Right? So like P790 is higher pitch. And Callaway is probably a little lower pitched, but both loud.
Oh, that one would be where the forgiveness.
Where we can test the forgiveness.
Yeah.
Where did you feel like
that was like low heel all day?
Low heel,
that was low heel all day. That was so low heel.
So right there, good. I think good summary of Ai200. Let's go into the P790.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one, I feel like it goes more left or starts more left.
Yeah. It may be.
Maybe because it has less offset.
Maybe that's why I'm perceiving it. Yeah.
Bringing out more of a natural shot.
Uh-huh.
So that's a good thing for you to take consideration, because what it says about the club is what it says about the club.
Right.
But you need to know your swing as much as well to kind of interpret that and apply what that club is to you, so that hopefully this video is informational.
Yeah, so especially the mid-handicapper section is actually a broad section, right? And it encompasses a lot of different types of golfers. There still can be golfers where they're still struggling with a slice, but they can somehow manage to score and still be in the mid-handicapper range.
Right.
Whereas, you'll have players where they strike the ball pretty well, but maybe their short game isn't up to par. So that's where they lose their shots and they're still in the mid-handicapper range, right? So just because you're in that range doesn't mean that you're going to have the same swing types or swing faults. And these clubs are definitely different in terms of that can help a certain type of golfer. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that one would be the same one.
Same one as the
as
last one
of the AI. Yeah.
Okay.
That one would be the low heel of the low heel. I'm doing this on purpose, by the way.
That's right. We're testing the forgiveness factor of this. Okay, very low. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's good to know, because again, we've had that shot with the Ai200,
right?
and it seems like on shots that are missed low, Ai200 is going just a little bit further, or maybe up to the par of what good shot is. And this is what I mean by the toe down.
Yeah.
The amount of toe down seems like it's less in the P790.
All right.
So let's go ahead and hit one more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you are
Yeah.
able to hit this one a little bit more left.
Yeah, a little more left.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, nice little straight shot there.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay, how did that feel?
So this is a different feel.
In what way?
From the TaylorMades and the Callaways, this is a different feel. It felt like the face was a lot thinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a big thud, or it's not like it almost felt like it was hollow. Just for the fact that the face, the reaction to the face, it felt like it was a lot thinner.
Okay.
It felt like it was hitting like a can.
Okay.
Versus like a thick panel of steel. Yeah,
Okay.
it's more closer to like the thinness of a can.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's hit one more. Wow. Those two are really straight, Jay.
They're very nice.
Jay, so right before the video, you mentioned that you don't have a lot of experience with the Ping irons.
Yes.
Drivers, woods, and hybrids, everybody knows that Ping makes great.
Yeah.
But irons are not relatively as well known.
Yeah.
And yet Ping has, I think, like 7 models of irons.
Yeah, so they're great. I mean, they do have a lot of models. And what I think that Ping does great is that they cater for a wider audience. But for me, for the better players, I'm not saying that I'm a better player, but for me personally, like I like playing blades, like more cleaner style. And Ping has always been the head of cast irons.
Right.
So they really, really haven't made a lot of forged irons. If you can probably count them in one hand of the offerings that they've had historically. They're always cast irons, and they do that because they know how to, it's easier for them to bend and cater to a lot of different physical types of golfers, right? So they have their dot system, and so they have one model and that they can bend it so they can adjust it to you. So that was kind of where they were going with their irons. And so me personally trying to find something that's soft feeling, like the Ping just never catered for me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was never really interested in Ping irons personally.
And I think that's a good point, because a lot of people probably, because of that reason, kind of overlooked this category of irons. And yet you just mentioned that this feels probably a little thinner. Would you say it feels a little bit better than traditionally the cast irons?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like a cast iron anymore. Yeah, it's still not completely like a forged iron, but it definitely feels a lot better. Yeah.
Great, great start. So let's go to the Srixon.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was that? What was the reaction?
It just feels good. It just feels good. It just feels good. Okay. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, the sound, the feel, it's the best so far. Yeah.
Okay.
Out of the mid-handicappers, it's the best so far. It's closer to just a forged iron. It's just good.
Speechless.
Yeah.
But
it's just good. Yeah.
It's great because right before we hit that shot, you were like, oh man, it's gonna be so hard to top
the Ping, right?
Ping.
Yeah. They were nice strikes. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to top that. Yeah.
Just based on the result.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is probably just as good. I mean, we just hit that one shot, but a little left, but just as far. I would say a little louder. It had more oomph to it than the Ping Ai530. So. Let's hit one more.
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna be a good
This is gonna
test.
be
Really good test.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you hit that on the face?
That was maybe just a tad on the heel. Oh,
just a little
yeah,
low.
Low. It was
Just a little low.
Yeah.
But both are really, really good. And then, so look-wise, let's take a look. Do you feel any difference at address?
Yeah. So definitely at address,
Mm-hmm.
there is a factor that really pops out,
Mm-hmm.
is that the grooves on the Ping are so much more tighter.
Right.
So there's a lot more grooves on the Ping face compared to the ZXi.
Yeah, that's probably something that Ping has been doing since 5 years ago. They called it, I think, the Micro Max Milled groove, where it's a little tighter. Again, so spin is your friend when it comes, especially with irons and wedges.
Right.
So that could produce a little bit more spin. How about the blade length? Because for me, what's really noticeable about the Ping i530 is that blade length is a little bit longer,
yeah,
right? Toe to heel.
Yes.
So what I've seen from that, from fitting, is that it's just a little bit more friendly to shots that are hit toe or heel.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little bit longer.
I could see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go back to the Ping i530.
Yeah.
That seems like was it a little chunky or?
No, it wasn't chunky at all.
Okay.
I just left the face a little open.
Face a little open. Okay, it goes far.
Yeah.
Right?
It felt like I was just trying to hit a fade, if
Okay.
anything, yeah.
Let's hit one more.
Yeah.
Good shot there.
Yep.
Man, distance-wise, this is killing it. What do you think?
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Like that feedback that I got of like the face is thin.
Yeah.
It definitely translates into ball speed or some sort of power that you feel like it's a rebounding effect that you can almost feel, yeah.
So if you take a look at this map, you see an outlier here. People call it that inconsistent, but I would probably attribute more to the green, where we set the green, because if we had set it at 170,
then it would have hit
ball,
the green.
Yeah, it would hit the green and kind of stay a little closer together. So don't look at that as to see, oh, there's inconsistency in distance.
Yeah.
Rather, I would say that just went really far. From an 80-mile club head speed, we're producing 1.45 smash factor, which means it's being more efficient. It's producing more ball speed with that type of speed. So go ahead and hit one more, and we'll go back to the Srixon.
All right.
Ooh. Yeah, definitely. I feel I know what you're talking about is when you say it feels a little thinner.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a higher pitch, but in a different way. Yeah.
Almost like you have a paper in hand, and I'm like punching through the paper, and the paper pops kind of
right?
thing.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So I see, 4 shots right of center, and one that was maybe pulled a little left, but I mean, distance-wise, compared to the last video that we had, they're really going far. So we'll go to the Srixon.
Yep.
Definitely more muted.
Yeah.
Definitely more muted.
More muted.
Man, you're hitting this good, Jay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the video of the one that we did full review on the ZXi5, it seemed we had a lot of good things to say about the ZXi5.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as though, I know the big thing about the Srixon irons is their V-sole, the VT sole.
Yes.
I know we're on a mat here, but do you feel any difference there?
So it really is hard to feel, but yes, if anything, I do notice that it does glide better.
Glide better.
Yeah, it just does. I mean, people can say that, it's definitely better off the grass.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that, but even on the mat, I can feel like it's not as digging, or maybe it could help me just get away with just a little bit of a fatter shot.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Hit one more, and I have something interesting to say.
Okay.
Okay, this one sounded like the one that I asked you if you hit a little fat.
Yeah,
with
this
the
one
Ping.
was definitely a little fat.
A little
Yeah,
fat.
the
But,
thing
I
was,
mean, very straight.
yeah, and I think this was exactly what I had in mind because it was a little fat, but I think I got away with it just a little bit better than other clubs where if the leading edge would just dig and you'd really notice it. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to kind of point out with these two is that if you look here, the Ping i530 has it starts out very thin in the heel and it goes really bulky on the toe.
Towards the toe, yeah.
Whereas the Srixon is kind of a little more rounder.
It's rounded, yeah. More meat on the middle, maybe just towards the toe, but generally, yeah.
Exactly. So what I've seen from that, I don't know, I mean, it's a very minimal difference, but I like to think that when your toe is a little bit more digging, Ping i530 has a little bit more effect just because of that. If you haven't gotten fitted and then your toe is a little digging at impact, this one has the tendency to just twist just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
That opens up the face. That's kind of like my experience with these. Another thing interesting is the Srixon ZXi5 irons are more friendly to combo with the ZXi7 or even the ZXi4.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of tour pros combo these irons.
Right.
And even the amateurs, again, you can combo with the ZXi4 and the 5. But the Ping i530, the one model higher than this would be the i230, and they look completely different.
Yeah.
So
Ping doesn't really do the combo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're in that, because this, again, we're framing this video to think that you are buying your second set. Like you've gone through your first set, and probably this is not going to be your last set, but also but you may be purchasing with the mind that you're going to continue to improve.
Right.
So ZXi7 and 5 would be a good combo, whereas this one I feel like you just got to go with the whole set.
Yeah.
So good.
It's a good strike.
Yeah, good strike.
Yep.
I think definitely because I know if you're just tuning into this video, we are just hitting the Mizuno, but we've been on this journey of hitting different mid-handicapper irons. Definitely the Japanese irons have more of a muted, lighter sound.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
I do agree, yeah.
And for some reason, all the other like American brand irons have the hollow body design, and yet the Mizuno and the Srixon,
They're
are
not
hollow body.
Yeah.
They're just more multi-material cavity back style irons. So that's interesting to note.
Yep.
Hit one more time. Yeah. I mean, just a little bit loud, but very muted.
Oh yeah, it feels good. Yeah.
Feels good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything to note? I know we've reviewed this iron, so if you haven't watched it, you can see a full review of it. But anything that stands out to you?
For sure, it definitely feels a lot better than the rest of the pack. It does feel a little different.
Even more than Srixon, would you say?
So yeah, so I was gonna say compared to the Srixon, I mean, it does feel a little more, I would say, a little more muted.
Okay.
Yeah. So the ZXi, I would say it sounds a little more louder.
Okay.
Just in that category,
Cool.
just in the sound category. But
Cool.
feel-wise, I feel like they're both very sturdy, very stable, very. Yeah, it's a good thud. Yeah.
Yeah, and we thought Srixon ZXi5 was just like good as far as consistent dispersion, but these two shots were right on top of each other, Jay. So let's go to the T200.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, definitely louder.
A little louder. Yep.
Flies a little higher, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll look at the data, but what's the, instant feedback, instantly, anything different?
Yeah, I mean, out of all the clubs that we tested, I think this definitely has the slimmest top line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when you put it down by the ball, it looks a lot more closer to the better handicapper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually, thinner the top line is better players tend to prefer that.
Yeah,
So.
and I do notice
interesting.
that there's less offset compared to the rest of the pack. Yeah.
So if you think about it, that it could be, as far as how it looks, it's probably skewing more towards the players.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So if it was a mid-handicapper, I think this would be like in the lower teens.
Okay.
Yeah, if we would just kind of segment that.
Got
yeah,
it. Okay. Okay, so one of the things that we are looking at is also the directional bias. So both of these shots went left,
little left
on
yeah.
us. So we're gonna continue to kind of eye that so that we are tracking that. But it feels, how does it feel different between the Mizuno?
It's definitely a little more clicky. It does feel like it's just a little more rebounding off the face.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not more of a heavier thud. It's more of a lighter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the Mizuno.
Yeah.
Ooh. So was that a little lower?
No, I don't
was
think
it
so.
pretty right on the dot? Okay, so I mean it's really straight. All
Yeah.
3 shots with the. One thing to note is that the lie angle on these are 1.5 degrees
Yeah,
different.
it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at that. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yes. So Mizuno 7-iron lie angle is 61.5, whereas the Titleist is 63.
Right?
So
yeah.
if you're not in a position where you can get fitted, if you can, please be fitted. Obviously, you can come here as well. We're in La Habra, California. But if you are buying a standard stock set, T200 is just going to sit a little bit more upright. The hands are going to be a little bit higher. And I don't know if that's what's contributing to shots
going
more
left.
to the left. But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and hit one more. And we'll... Oof, that's a Mizuno sound, I know.
That's nice.
That was really good there.
Very nice. Yep.
So one thing that people traditionally think is that cavity back irons are not as long as the hollow body irons. What would you say in that?
So the hollow body irons, I think in general, they have that factor of if you hit it really in the sweet spot, it really rebounds. Versus the cavity backs, because they're just a little more one piece.
Yeah.
I think the speed off of the face, depending on where you strike it, is a little more consistent.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would probably, the cavity back irons like the Mizuno would be a better consistent iron.
Yeah.
And the T200 or
Right.
the hollow body irons could be rebounding a little bit
Right,
faster.
so you can get that jumper from time to time
Got
where
it.
you'd be like, you hit it in the dead center and it just airmails the green.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll have those
I
kind
hope
of
I can feel them.
surprises
I
from
hope
time to time.
Yeah, okay, got it. Let's hit one more.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that was pulled a little bit left, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look trajectory-wise,
Yeah.
it doesn't look that much different.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. I think the uprightness
Yeah.
of the lie
I
angle.
can feel the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can tell from the get-go that it's sitting up.
Got it.
So I'm trying to make it as flat as possible, but it's just hard to manipulate it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Did you have
me.
to adjust for that?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
trying to just come in a little more flatter.
Got it. Ooh, almost. Oh! Jay almost bought drinks for everyone who was watching.
We should do that. We should
yes.
do that. If we have a hole in one,
All right,
yeah.
hole in one. Everybody drink on Jay.
Yeah,
every
drinks on me.
viewer.
Yep.
Wow, really hit that well.
Yep.
Man, out of all the tests that we've done, I think this will probably be the closest.
Yeah.
All right, so we just hit all 6 irons from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, Mizuno, and Srixon.
Yep.
It was such a blast.
Yeah. It was very fun.
It was very fun. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed it. We're going to go right into the data. We're going to start to pick out different winners of this. And I think one thing that you asked me, hey, what stands out
Yeah.
the most? for me, it's definitely the distance of the Ping i530.
Yeah.
It kind of like
does, yeah.
stands above, head and shoulder above everything else, because the carry distance wise, if you just look at the carry distance, it's 164 carry. Most of these irons are in the 30-degree of loft setting.
Right. It's not like it's super strong lofted
exactly.
compared to the other ones, right? They're all pretty similar.
Exactly.
Maybe a degree or two.
And the fact that it's flying 4 yards further than the next best, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're looking at distance and you lack distance, and if you feel like the distance is the key to you unlocking to get to the next level, I think you should be looking at that.
For sure.
What stands out to you?
For me, I mean, after the distance, right? We have to talk about dispersion, right? You can talk about dispersion. I definitely noticed that there were clubs that performed a lot more consistently versus there were clubs that were just all over the place. The ZXi5 definitely had it, I think. You know, it was just, that circle is just centered around the center line that, you know, it's very playable, very playable,
I mean, it's very, the dispersion is very tight and it's like a perfect circle. And it's in the center line, so dispersion-wise, it was really good. Let's take a look at the feel. Obviously, this is subjective. But what would you say if you were to give me top 3 feeling irons?
The top 3 feeling,
Starting from 3.
I would put the ZXi5 and the JPX right up there.
Okay. 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 right there.
Okay. What's the third one?
And surprisingly, I would go with the Ping.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a refreshing, different feeling that I did. It was very delightful to hit. Yeah.
Okay. Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I think playability-wise, because this is, again, the mid-handicapper who is kind of graduating out of the beginner set. If there's a scale here, and this is the beginner and this is most advanced, how would you scale those 6? Starting with the most friendly.
Most friendly, I would say that there's 2.
Okay.
One would be the Ping.
Okay.
In terms of it gives you the most distance, and like you said, the blade length, right? There definitely is a factor in that.
Yeah.
The blade length being just a little longer, it gives you just a little bit more of forgiveness and friendliness. I would put it, right. And also at the same time, the Ai200 was also very forgiving in a different way.
Yeah.
I felt like because of the amount of feedback that I wasn't getting, it kind of masked my good shots, my bad shots. Like I felt like it was just going anywhere. And I think that's another sign of friendliness. So you don't beat yourself up, right? So if you're not a consistent ball striker, then you don't have to beat yourself up of being, I didn't hit that good, or that felt harsh, or, you know, it kind of masks a lot of that, so it's more user friendly. That's how I would put it. Yeah. So
interesting.
Ping and the Ai200.
Okay. So what's probably the most difficult or like most advanced?
Definitely, it was the T200.
T200. Okay.
The looks, you know, the top line was the thinnest out of all of them. The offset was the most minimal out of all of them. Probably the blade size as well, like it's just more compact. So when you set it down by the ball, it's definitely, it's better, it's geared towards the better player.
Got it. Okay, so that's a pretty good scale there. We'll let you guys pick the best overall, what you think out of the 6. So comment below what you think is the best iron and put your experience in there as well. What was most surprising to you, Jay?
Well, yeah, the most surprising one was the Ping i530.
Okay.
I mean, it just wasn't not what I was expecting out of this category. Maybe, I mean, I actually think that it might have been even miscategorized at this point. Yeah, maybe it's geared towards even higher handicappers. It could be. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, the Ping has 2, like G440
they already have
and the G730.
Exactly.
Irons.
Right.
So it just speaks to, I think, again, like if you're overlooking this iron, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
So, man, that was so fun, Jay.
Yeah.
I hope you guys got a lot out of that. And let us know if you have any questions. We would love to address those in our next videos as well. Maybe we'll do a beginner series or most advanced series, blades, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you guys you guys want to see like a 1v1v1 versus for any type of category, better players out there. You know, we have slower swing speeds, faster swing speeds. You know, we know you guys are all out there. Chime in, you know, help us, you know, grow the channel, and we would love your feedback.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on our next video. See you guys.
Bye.